what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Ranty Flat Earth and Nummy Num. How are you both doing?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Very good to have you both. Any signs of curvature, gentlemen?
No. Afraid not.
Any signs of axial rotation of the earthbound variety, Ranty? Talking to you?
No. Absolutely not.
Pressurized system next to a vacuum. Any evidence of that surfaced as yet?
Nummy? Any evidence of that?
Nope.
No?
We're failing. I'm sorry.
That's all right. This is the usual way the housekeeping goes. Any signs of R?
R.
Nope.
No evidence of R. What about gravity? Any evidence of gravity?
Sly Sparkane thinks he's found a way to measure gravity by the Cavendish experiment.
Oh, the Cavendish experiment, which isn't an experiment, doesn't have a valid scientific hypothesis. That one, you mean?
That one, yeah. The one that had the gust of air blowing around his equipment.
Yeah, big shout out to Feppy Perth, who showed exactly that. Big close-up of the polystyrene flapping in the wind, which I thought was quite comical. Good job, Sly. Good job.
What about this molten core? Nathan, have you got any evidence for this perpetual iron molten core?
No, but Paul Voigt claims that he has evidence of that, so I don't know if Paul Voigt's currently in the chat, but apparently he's got some evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core.
It's been a long wait, hasn't it? What is it now? It must be 2 months and more.
Easily. Probably more like 3 or 4.
Have we heard back from astronaut's son, whether or not he's prepared to go into this this vacuum with a NASA spacesuit on and get vaporized?
I don't know. I don't know anything about the vacuum chamber. Anthony's mentioned it a couple of times, but it's not something I keep up to date with. So anyway, if Anthony joins in a little bit, he'll be able to tell us about exactly that. We shall see.
Shall see. So yeah, I mean, I happened to step into the chat in Sly's live stream last night, and of course, you know, within a few minutes, I was jumped upon. Could barely get a word in with 10 people responding to everything that I put, so I just ignored them people basically in the chat and tried to have a conversation with Sly. But as usual, he's very slippery and slimy. Doesn't do what you want him to do.
He's very sly. That's his
He
name.
is sly. Very sly.
Name suggests.
Makes you wonder why he has that name.
Yes. Well,
So,
great.
there's a couple of details about the ending of Sly Sparkane's video, specifically the last 20 minutes and the last 3 minutes. So, Ranty, can you tell us about what the last 20 minutes of Sly's live stream yesterday was consumed with, please?
Well, essentially, for the last year, I have been trying to get the Baltards to go and look at this particular piece of evidence that I have from Barrow-in-Furness, and I looked across towards Blackpool and clearly evidenced the mirror ball. Well, I did a live hangout a couple of days after, or the following day, on this channel. I think it's actually the first video that I put up, and that was evidencing what I'd actually captured. Now, I've tried to get them to go and revisit this and have a look at it, but they don't want to know because, as far as they're concerned, it wasn't there. Either that or they knew it was there and just decided not to even bother. Well, I kicked up such a fuss in the chat last night and I was calling them all kinds of names, cowards and all sorts, till eventually they had to respond and say, well, what are you going on about? Now, I hadn't realised that I'd put maybe half a dozen times, maybe even more than that, a link, not the full link, to my Google Drive with this image on, not realising that they couldn't see it because in the spam filter or something, they won't have it displaying. So I'm there thinking that I'm sending this message to them. They're not seeing it. And of course, then I'm calling them a coward. So eventually that got resolved and they found out that I was trying to get them to do the same analysis that they'd done from an image that was done from Hoylake looking at Blackpool Tower. At this time, it was from Barrow-in-Furness. So once he's got like 200 or 300 people in his chat, he's going to find it hard to turn that down when people are crying out for this evidence to be looked at. So of course, I had him then. Once I was able to get the image to him, and he was able to go through it and apply the same techniques that he'd used to try and find out what was in the image from Hoylake. He realised that the mirror ball was indeed evidenced in the image from Barrow-in-Furness. To which, as soon as he agreed, and they both agreed, both him and Sean Hufford, and they actually commented and said, well, we never said that you couldn't see the mirror ball from Barrow-in-Furness, but it is definitely the mirror ball. We have that on tape. Anyway, I then said, well, can you do the curve calcs on it, please? They love the curve calcs, they love the Mick West and the Metabunk and all that stuff. So I asked them to go and do the curve calcs, to which they started to put calculations together, and they already knew the height of the mirror ball, and they knew where it was in relation to the tide and all this. And once they get into a very high tide probability of about no more than 50 feet, they didn't want to do the curve calcs, rounded up the live stream, and essentially ended it there and then, without actually addressing the fact that nearly 200 feet should have been missing from the curve calcs. So had they done that, because they clearly said that obviously it was the mirror ball, the curve calcs would have said that 200 feet should have been missing, and they would have had to explain why 150 feet of the mirror ball or missing height wasn't evidenced in the image. So of course they didn't want to do that. They realised very quickly that it was very detrimental to their case, and this is what the stream's about, this gatekeeping, because in front of all the people that they had in their essentially their live stream, they could have quite easily, if they had any kind of morals, and they pride themselves on saying how moralistic they are and always going after the evidence. Well, the evidence was right there, and they didn't put it out to the people that were watching, and I find that very, very suspicious. They spent 20 minutes doing this analysis of the image, and then they wrapped it up. Once they realised it was in the mirror ball, they wrapped it up within 3 minutes without addressing the curve calcs, when I specifically asked them to then address the curve calcs on it. Yes, Anthony.
He did the exact same thing with me before he kicked me. He refused point blank to apply the curve calcs to it, and he kicked me because he said, "Do you think it's a mirage? Do you not think that's a mirage?" And I'm like, "No." Why not? Well, it's not upside down for starters. No evidence to suggest it is a mirage, other than the fact that it shouldn't be visible on a plane. And bear in mind that this is I'm referring to the evidence where I took it from the beach at his request, and basically he ignored it. He refused to address it, called me an idiot for not admitting or accepting that it was a mirage of some kind, and then promptly kicked me as a result of it. Basically, they don't want to look at the curve calcs when they know that it's behind the curve. Now, how honest is that, Sly? How honest is that, Sly? You don't want to look at the curve calcs, do you? No. So you've done it with Ranty, you've done it with me. Are you dishonest, Sly? Of course you are. You're an idiot.
He is dishonest.
Yes, I agree.
Nathan, if you want to display me in a second when I get this, get myself ready. Right, yeah. So if you want to kind of display me now, Nathan.
Yeah, you're up.
Wait on. Open with the right one. Photos. Right. Okay. So yeah, if you want to display me now, Nath, got a few things ready.
Again, you're up. You're on.
I'm on. Right. Brilliant. So, the distance from where I live to Barrow-in-Furness, it's maybe 22 miles, but I have to go so far around. It takes me 2.5 hours to get to this location. I can show you on Google Earth where that was. Essentially, it was here on this little spot here. And what I'd done is I'd parked in this car park here. This is it's like a wildlife area, conservationist place, and you pay to go in, and you can go around the. There's a walkway that goes down here. I did this during the day at another time that I went there, so I knew the location. So when I went back at the evening, I parked up in this car park here away from the house, and then basically just walked through the sand dunes at night. Got down to the beach here and started videoing and taking images of Blackpool from here. So that's my location, and this is the image that I was talking about. Now, obviously, you can see Blackpool Tower, you can see the big one, etc., etc. There's a few other lights on there that are easily identifiable. But when I straighten the image out, obviously, because it was a bit crooked, and apply some filters to it to bring out what's actually in the image, what we see over here is this little dot. Now, I say it's a little dot. It is a little dot originally, but when you zoom in, you actually can see, as I'm zooming in, we're getting a very nice bright red image, which is the mirror ball. It's undoubtedly the mirror ball. Now, we got Sly to do all his mathematics and his scaling techniques to identify what this object was, and both him and Sean Hufford,
guys?
both him and Sean Hufford both agree this is the mirror ball. It's undoubtedly the mirror ball. It's above the hard horizon. It's there. It's evidenced in the image. There's obviously the big one, etc., etc. Now, I've been trying to get them to look at this for a year, so it was good that last night I was able to capture them, nail them down, and get them to do this, perform this analysis, because once they did it, kind of game over for them. And I'm going to show you how that's transpired, because this is a video that I actually took on the same night. Now, I had my camera in my hand, and I had my P900. There's the water. You can see the water. There's the camera, which is no more than a couple of feet away from the water, which is actually, I think it gets a little bit nearer the tripod. Here's me setting my P900 up. I'll actually upload this video to my channel later. So here I am, setting it all up, GPS on it and everything. So that's why there's GPS on the actual images. And this is on the same night. This is the image that I took. This is me putting the log on for creating the log. And obviously I take the image from this exact spot. So this is where I was filming from. Now, they tried to say that maybe I'd run and gone up a sand dune and taken the image from there. Well, no, because here's the video backing up my assertion. Anyway, so I'll upload this later. But we've had Sly Sparking coming back in and making comments. So he says that he wonders if there's I wonder if you, though, of stating that there was at least 9 meters difference between the tide in the video and the tide in the photo you gave us in the hangout. And that's not including the storm swell during your filming. I mean, just ridiculous. Basically, I put a video up today. I'm going to show you the
Ramsey, it's worth explaining the 9 meter difference. That's the difference in Blackpool of absolute high tide against absolute low tide.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do that. I'll address that right now. So this is the video that I put up today, and I basically go through what I recall of the evidence at the time. Now, I have actually revisited this, and what I've found is that probably a year ago, which is on this video here, this stunning 100% proof of a flat Earth, it transpires that I don't actually know properly how to use Blackpool time and date. So I'm holding my hands up here, and I basically see a high tide of 21:41, And then I see a low tide at like 3 o'clock in the morning that's like 3 meters. And I basically say, well, I took the image just after midnight, so I'm going to halve it in the middle. What I hadn't realized was there's a little hover thing that you can hover over the times and get an exact time. So in my head, I had it as 5 meters. So I'm going to address that right now and show you, where is it? Here. So here we have, this is the time and date. So here's this little cursor that you can hover over. So from Friday the 1st of September, just moving into Saturday. So at 00:16, the tide was at 4 meters 39, right? And that was the time that I took the image. Well, actually it was 7 minutes past, but you know, as you scroll through, it's, you know, it's flicking around. So it was probably around about 4.5 meters. Anyway, so there's the DSC and there's the thingy. So the tide's at 4.5 meters. And then I went back and I filmed it at 10 past 10 in the morning on the 21st of the 9th, 2017. So I brought that time and date up. And we have, when I was doing the comparison video, we have a 6.62 meter tidal height. So there's essentially about a 2 meter difference. So I need to add on, I need to go back to my original analysis and add 7 feet on to my calculations, which isn't too detrimental, to be fair. But when Slice Arcane is saying that there's a 9 meter difference between the tide times of the video and the tide of the photo that you gave me in the Hangout, that is complete and utter rubbish. Now, what I did is I went back and I videoed, this is this Slice Arcane that I put up today. So I went back and basically I measured, I went back to the mirror ball and I measured what the tide would have been at a 5 meter height, right? Actually, that's pretty interesting. This was at 5 meters. So now I only need to add on, what do I need to add on? Hang on. I'm getting ahead of myself here now. I might be wrong. Might be even better for us. So this was at 4 meters 50. Right. So at the time that I took the image, it was a 4.5 meter tide. Oh, hang on. No, that's right. Because it was. Right. Got it. Right. So it was a 6.62. Right. Okay. So I've got 2 meters to find. Sorry, I'm stressing a little bit here. But basically, I go back and I video the height of the tide. So here's the height of the tide. I measure it, and I get an elevation right at the end here, where I'm next to the mirror ball. Where is it? Here. So I'm stood by the mirror ball, and I calculate that it's 46 feet to the top of the mirror ball. So we can now upgrade that to 53 feet to the top of the mirror ball, right? So that is at the exact time that I took the image. This mirror ball was 53 feet to the top of the mirror ball, above actual sea level at the time. To the bottom of it, because the ball itself is a 20 foot wide ball, that would put it at 33 feet. So we've got to find out where's the missing 150 feet. Where's it gone? Where's the 150 feet that's missing? Now, the fact that Slide didn't actually do the curve calcs on this tells me that he's so dishonest. And he keeps coming back and commenting and making absurd comments. Here's the next one that he brings up. He says that it's at 07 in the morning, the tide was at 3 meters. Well, you've just seen the time and date for Blackpool. That was at 4 meters 50. So he's knocked off 1.5 meters there. He says that the height of, what else is it? 9 meters. He says, when I went at 10 past 10 in the morning, it was high tide and it was approaching 9 meters. This is the dishonesty of him. And he's leaving these comments on my channel. So he's saying that when I went back, the water height in the video was nearly high tide approaching 9 meters, 21st of September 2017. Might be able to bring that up on tide and date now, actually. Just to show you.
I don't really follow. If it's high tide, that's worse for the globe, isn't it?
Sorry?
If it's high
no,
tide...
what he's trying to do, he's trying to put as much distance between the video that I did and the measurement that I calculated the mirror ball to be 46 feet above sea level. He's trying to put as much distance. In other words, he's trying to say that the tide was at 9 meters when I did that video, and it was only at 3 meters in Barrow in Furness. So there's a 6 meter discrepancy that I need to add on the height of the mirror ball, the height of the stem, all that extra stuff, building it up to nearly 70 feet. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to lie and and absolutely, he's making an arse of himself. I'll be honest.
But it makes no difference. 70 feet's not enough, is it?
No, it's nowhere near enough.
I mean, even if we,
But anyway,
if we
Sorry, go on.
used, for the sake of argument, if we were to use the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator, it would be a mile out, right?
it is. It is. It's an absolute country mile away, and I'll bring that curve calc up in a minute.
I mean, according to these guys like Sly, the calculator's God, it's right, and they're out for truth. What? Hi, Jeffrey. Can you hear us?
Hi there.
Hello. So, if they're out for truth, why haven't they shown this?
Well, exactly. They're not out for truth at all. They should have done the curve calcs last night because they all live by the curve calc, the mathematics of it. The fact they didn't is it's so dishonest because he had nearly 300 people in his live stream. Now, so here I've just gone back to the Blackpool Tide Times for the 21st of September 2017 when I did the video this morning. Now, you can hover over the time at the bottom here. And if I try and get it to around about 10 in the morning or somewhere as close to, so 10:08, it's 6 meters 62, right? 10:08 in the morning, 6 meters 62. Now he's left a comment on my channel saying that the tide was nearly 9 meters. That's what he said. So he's trying to add on nearly 2.5 meters or 10 feet, something like that, is what he's trying to put on already to the height. So this is how dishonest he is. So he's trying to nick points here and nick points there. But the simple fact of the matter is it's 19 miles, right? So I'm going to do the curve calcs on it. I know you don't like me doing this, Nathan, but if this is their rules that they play by. Now, you saw my camera in the water. The distance was 19 miles. I'm going to put my viewer height at 3 feet. Hidden should be 189 feet. That's what should be missing.
Hello.
Right?
Hello.
Hello.
Now, even putting on that extra 7 feet for the discrepancy in the tide, that puts me at 53 feet to the top of the mirror ball. There's 140 feet of missing curvature there. 140. It's not even close. And I'll show you the image again. So this is it here. This is the image here. This is the mirror ball down here. We're seeing all of that mirror ball. Seeing it all. There it is. Right, now they have not wanted to address this image for the past year, but I got them last night to do it. They both agree that it is the mirror ball. So the fact that they wouldn't tell their audience that there's 140 foot of missing curve there, how dishonest is that, Nathan?
I was just about to say I can't see it, but then I've glanced across at the second monitor because my projector's in the daytime, so it's really blurry. But you can now I can definitely see it. Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah. So it's definitely there now. It's been up on my Google Drive for about a year. I've had it there. I've tried to contact with them. I've messaged them. They've not wanted to know. They didn't want to know this. Anthony went on and he used a different image. I don't know why he used a different image, but he did a hangout with them about this observation. Now, he was trying to obviously talk about things like the fact that the illuminations are visible. This is part of the illuminations that are visible. They're down to 14 feet or so. 14 feet.
Oh, look at this. How nice.
Right? So this is Sly Sparkane. This is what we have to deal with, and this is the comments that he keeps coming out with. Here's another one. Here's another one that he's put in. Oh, I almost forgot. Your mirror ball is below the refraction line at the horizon.
Refraction line.
I mean, this guy. I mean, come on. Not only is he lying, saying that I was at 9 meters when I've just showed you right now it was at 6.62. He's then lowered it to 3 meters in the morning.
6.62 meters or feet?
Meters.
You were at 6 meters, right? Okay.
Right. Here's the thing, right? So if he puts me, this is what he's trying to do. He's putting me, when I took the image, he's putting me at low tide and about 3 meters. That's what he's putting me, right? The tide was at 4.5 meters, right? So he's nicked 1.5 meters on that, right? And then he's put me at nearly 9 meters here. When I went back and did the video that I uploaded today, essentially putting on another 2.5 meters. So between the two, he's trying to steal 4 meters from my observation. right? This is what he's trying to do, because every meter or every foot counts for them. So if they can steal 4 meters from me, which is the equivalent to about 14 feet, it's better for them. They can then add on 14 feet that they're not entitled to.
These people call themselves honest. It's just utter nonsense, isn't it? I mean, they're adding on feet, they're debunking Google Earth, they're never actually addressing the fact that we just see this stuff.
Exactly, that's it. We see it because it's there. It's there. They both agree that the mirror ball is there. It was only once after they realised that they put the stamp of approval on it, agreed that it was the mirror ball without question, that they then thought, oh, hang on, wait a minute, this doesn't match our curve calcs. And they rounded up the show without telling their audience what the curve calcs would have been and what the difference should, you know, what the missing was. The missing hidden 189 feet. The drop, the physical drop, 240 feet. And the mirror ball was only 53 feet above sea level, right? Where's the missing, right?
So
why won't they address that?
They're trying to distort the height so that their refraction claim will seem more plausible.
Yeah, exactly. So instead of it being 53 feet, they could then add on another 14 feet. So that's going to take it up to 67 feet. So 67 feet above sea level is a lot better for them than 53 feet above sea level, right? So that's what they're trying to do. That's what he's trying to convince himself. I don't know whether it's religious praying that they're doing or they don't actually go and check these tide times. You know, I mean, I can show you the tide times for that day, which was, so Friday the 1st, so it was just after midnight. So here we go down to, that's Friday the 1st, just after midnight. So at 16 minutes past, so it's going out, it's going down the tide. It was at 4 meters 39. Now he said it was at 3 meters, right? But I took the image at 007. So let me just see if I can get it to go a little tiny bit more. No, can't do it. Basically, at midnight, it was at 464. And at 16 minutes past, it was at 439. So I'm going to say I was at 4.5 meters. Now he's deliberately lied and said that it was at 3 meters. Where's he getting this information from? Why is he lying about it? Why is he trying to distort the truth and not acknowledge it? I thought he was about all honesty.
I know why he's lying. He's doing the same thing that Miles the Liar Davis does. He said that I was at 40. I said I was at 40 feet when I did my most recent video of St. Bees. Miles claims I was only at 30 feet. And I'm like, why would you take 10 feet off my height when I've claimed it based on the tide height? He's totally and utterly dishonest. They, like you say, they need every foot, every meter, and they need to bring it down as put it up as much as possible and get that sea level what's the word, down as low as they possibly can.
Well, yeah.
I agree completely.
So what they're saying is they're putting me down at 3 meters for the observation, right? And then they're putting me back at 9 meters for when I did the measurement, right? So they're putting a 6 meter discrepancy between the two, right? Whereas it was only a 2 meter discrepancy. They're trying to nick 14 feet. And why though? It makes no sense.
I think they just want to keep us arguing about refraction, right? And that thereby playing the game of acknowledging that refraction could even do any of this in the first place. So I think maybe in a way they don't even care. They just want us to argue along the premise that they're proposing, which is a false premise, even if they are lying, right? Because then we end up playing this game where of this magical refraction explanation, refraction can do anything, even though there's no scientific proof that refraction can loom images coherently over huge amounts of space to present you with an image of a distant landscape as if it was just, you know, in a different spot than it's supposed to be.
Well, we have this guy named Toland who's really pushing the envelope on cameras, lenses, and whatever. He's got a shot he's posted yesterday because he's been doing flat Earth for about 2 years. But he posted yesterday a shot from 150 feet up, 118 miles away. Beautiful, beautiful images with IR. Now, this guy, it's like pushing the envelope. He's really good. And, you know, if you think you're arguing about 20 miles of curve and a little bit of haze and stuff now, he's got 118 miles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a joke.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
Terrible joke.
I can't wait to see what Ranty's able to do by, you know, by just making these same or similar observations of the familiar landscapes he's been shooting with the infrared and see what that reveals. That's going to be, I suspect that's going to be quite a revelation. And
yeah, he shows the equipment and the setup that he gets this 117 miles, 120 mile view of with great resolution. It's not an end of the world setup either. It's one of these telescopes with a it's a camera made for the telescope, but nonetheless, I mean, from 150 feet up, he's taking pictures of Los Angeles downtown to 120 miles away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, right now we're arguing like me seeing, you know, 20 miles across the bay when I was growing up. Now we're talking distances which are 5 times, 6 times that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've always been able to see over 30 miles.
Where's that missing mile of curve there, Sly Stallone, in these new videos?
Yeah.
Sly Stallone.
Well, he knows. He knows. He's known about this video. He's known about the evidence. I did this hangout on the 3rd of September last year. I've been trying to get them to address it. I cornered them last night, and they wouldn't show the evidence to their subscribers and devoted followers, which I think is very, very...
Well, if you think of it really, really profoundly, their behavior is no different than addicts. I don't care if they're addicts for heroin, cocaine, or whatever. These Globers, these liars like the Sly Sparkanes and the Miles and all these people out there doing this job of trying to, you know, screw over the truth, it's partly behavior of drug addicts. It's the same thing. They are so addicted to their ball earth and these concepts that they're willing to kill for them, or lie or steal or cheat, because they cannot be removed from them.
Well, they're trying to rationalize a belief system, right? Like, I'm not even going to assume that they're lying. They may just be in a serious state of cognitive dissonance, desperately trying to rationalize a belief system. I mean, that can happen to the best of us, right? But I'm curious. Have any of the well-known debunkers of flat Earth, so-called debunkers of flat Earth, made any comments about this infrared observation yet? Has anyone?
He did one a month or so ago, and this is a new one. This guy doesn't get a lot of like reviews from flat earthers, even. You know, he's sort of like unknown. He's got top caliber work going out, and no one freaking knows about him.
Well, yeah, I think
somehow everything's too under a spotlight with these so-called chats and groups. They never get out. Like not to complain. There's a lot of good work comes out of here, but the focus is always so much on the same narrow topic. A few pictures of a bay. That, you know, gravity, other things take back seat.
Yeah, that's not what I'm asking.
And things can never get into a conversation outside of these things, which are a few shots across the water.
But what I'm saying is that Globebusters pushed that video, so now I'm sure he's probably gotten more views than he ever got in his whole past.
Well, I've been pushing him for a couple of months now, so thank you, Globebusters, for they're taking the credit again. That's one of the problems with this flat Earth community.
No, it's not about credit. And hey,
anyway,
I was asking a different question. Okay, I'm just interested if there's any.
When they refer to other people who do work on other subjects, oh, they heard about and saw some ramblings, and then they said it straight, right? Screw these people. You know, something's got to change in all this.
Listen, I'm asking.
This dog chasing tail got to go.
You're just going to talk to me the whole time?
No, I'll wait.
Okay. I'm just saying, Globebusters has now pushed this. Has there been any response from any of the so-called flat Earth debunkers, or if there's any Globers out there, would they like to come and talk about these infrared observations at over 100 miles? Because I just want to see, what are they saying about that? Or is it going to be some new special infra-refraction?
Well, I think some of the more special stuff that really does prove the Earth is ignored for things that favor more of the, you know, bickering and the arguing about nonsense details. That's
I'm not into bickering and arguing. What I'm saying is that I'm throwing this as a challenge to the ballers out there. What do you have to say about these new observations now that they're in the spotlight? Because we can complain about it not already having been in the spotlight, but there's a lot going on the internet. And I mean, I wasn't aware of this guy. Sorry, I can't keep track of everything. And I don't think anyone can. So there's no point in whining about that. I'm just saying, now that it's there, what are these Globers have to say about it? Would anybody like to come and
They
debate
don't
it?
have anything to say about it. Look at my observations from a foot. Look at my observations from 6 feet, seeing absolute shore-to-shore in the daytime in a video. Never mind just images.
Yeah,
Right?
Well,
we shouldn't need more, really.
You shouldn't.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying, like the curve just keeps getting steeper and steeper, so to speak, for these Globers, right? Like
Because we just keep buying into the game of playing their game. We're in the driver's seat, and you're playing like you're sniffing butt and chasing these people like they're still in charge.
Hello,
Well,
Sly. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I just want to introduce Sly. How you doing, Sly? Can you hear us?
Oh, greetings and salutations, everybody.
Good to have you.
Hello?
hello.
What happened there? Did Slightest Sparkane come in?
He did, and then his microphone is cut. Sly, your microphone is not sounding now. Maybe unplug it.
Oh,
It might just be a sniper.
could be a sniper. Think so. Might be the case that we end up with a new hangout. Yeah, looks like we lost everybody. Everyone except Jeffrey, surprisingly. You still there? You still there, Jeffrey?
Yeah, sure.
All right. How come?
I'm waiting to talk to Anthony.
I know. I mean, how come you didn't get sniped? Is what I meant.
I don't know. I'm sure you'll come up with a reason though.
I have no idea. That's why I was asking. Anyway, you can join the next one, my friend.
All right.
You can listen to the dulcet tones of my kid wailing in the meantime. There'll be a new hangout published in about 2 minutes, or as long as it takes me to actually sort it out. Hopefully not very long. It's been a while since I've been sniped. I think it was fake Sly Sparkane that sniped everyone. Someone with a voice recording of Sly. There we go. So the new hangout is now up. Share it with a few people, and I will put the public link out very shortly. Nummy on snipes. Nummy on Skype says sniped. Bit of a tongue twister. Indeed. So the link is now out in Master B.
Hello.
Hello.
I did say we'd get sniped today.
That was clever.
Someone
I'll
with
be
a voice
honest, that was
recording
clever.
of Sly. Yeah, that was clever.
Yeah.
Shout out to the effort that the trolls go to just to snipe. Just to cost me 2 minutes of work.
Well, what they've done is they've got a soundbite of him saying his greetings and salutations,
Right.
and then they've played that, and then the sniping thing. So yeah, very clever. But now we know. The next time he comes in and he plays that same video again, we'll be aware of that. So
Jolly good. Hopefully Nummy and a few others will join. The link is in Discord. Discord? Skype.
It's a shame we can't get Jeff back in because he wants to talk about where South is because it's apparent that the ballers can't tell us exactly where South is for a few reasons, and he wants to talk about it. So hopefully. Oh, Arwin's claiming that Nathan's blocked him. Well, you deserve it, to be honest, Arwin.
What a load of crap. That must be a fake Arwin.
Let's have a look. Go to
Nobody is
channel.
blocked. I literally have nobody blocked.
Nope. That's not the fake Arwin. That's the real Arwin claiming that you've blocked him.
No, you're not blocked.
You're just a knob, Arwin.
No need.
Arwin.
No need.
No, there is a need, Nathan. Stop being nice. I think Nathan's too soft. What's going on, Nathan? You've got a soft spot for Arwin because you don't want to upset him, but you also don't want to tell him that he's been a knob.
Actually, I was going to tell Ranty he needs to apologise to Owen today.
No,
Yes.
Ranty. Oh, Sean Offord asks, do you have Arwen blocked, Anthony? That will prevent him joining. No, I don't, but I know that Ranty does. And it's his
yes,
choice.
I do, yeah.
To be honest, I agree with it.
Have you got him blocked, Ranty?
Yeah, he needs a day off.
He does need a day off.
Hold on, have you got him blocked, Ranty?
I have, yes.
There you go, there's your answer, cheeky sod. Nothing to do with me. Nobody's blocked by me.
I will unblock you tomorrow, Arwen.
No, leave it a week. Let's have a week off. At least
Just
3
unblock him
days,
now.
Ranty, please, I beg of you.
Unblock him now.
No, don't unblock him now, because we've got Thingy coming in, Jeff. If you unblock him now, he'll come in and
Sniping,
ruin it.
blocking, modding. I hate all of it. It's so toxic.
I know, but if it stops the conversation when Arwen pipes up and says, no, it's like I just feel like shooting him. Yeah, that's how I feel when he says no.
Anyway.
How do we get a message to Jeff Pinion? Because if Jeff Pinion joins, then we can have a conversation. But we have to
we
open
can
the
still have
door.
a conversation. I mean, I want to talk about how critical it is that the ballers want to believe that water can curve. And
new
my
link.
evidence is showing that the water isn't curving.
And I agree. My evidence is showing the same. But yet you've got Sean Hufford in chat that'll ridicule us, and based on this pompous, pretentious arrogance that he's got, which is endearing, I'll be honest, but ultimately, water's not curving where we are. It might be curving where you guys are, especially if Reds goes out and does something and claims that it's true, but we're not seeing it. So why is it flat here but not flat where you guys are?
Well, the thing is, that doesn't conform to the ball model, does it? It doesn't go with gravity. Gravity is supposed to curve the water. So if there is no curving water and water is flat, then it's kind of a big problem for the ballers. And the fact that Sean Hufford and Sly Sparkane both agreed that we saw the mirror ball, well, they've got some explaining to do. Now they need to say why it looks flat.
Jeff Pinion, I don't know how we're going to get you a message unless Nathan releases it publicly. Nathan, may as well let it go public.
It is public. I was just trying to sell you. So you just need to click refresh. Jeffrey. Is it Jeffrey? Just click refresh. The link will be there. Hey, Nummy.
Hello.
Hello.
What the hell happened there?
Dodgy Sly
Sparkane.
Sparkane joined.
Not the
He
real
did
one.
that?
Not the real one.
He was probably the nice Sly Sparkane.
Actually, we don't know it was the fake one. Could have been the real one. Hey, Jeffrey.
Hi, I'm back.
W. So you
So
wanted
we've
to
got
talk
Jeff.
about South, did you, Jeffrey?
Yeah, I'll start. I'll make the assertion. You guys can't tell where south is accurately.
Okay, can we tell where north is?
That's the problem. You tell me how you find where north is when you're... Hang on a minute, it's Dante 8.
Hang on, can I give a shout out
Hey,
to Jared?
Dante. Can you hear us?
Salutations.
Oh, kick him.
Hey,
Jose is here.
Jose is cool, man. He's safe.
Yeah, thank you. Hey, check this out. Do you see my camera? See what
I
I
had it
am?
up before. Yeah, very nice. I did have it up
This is-
while in between Ranty's bits.
I got me a camera to make a couple observations and put them up to see what I can get out of here.
Awesome. You're
Nice,
at least
nice.
you're at least 20 feet according to the ballers.
Yeah, right? No. I'm in a hole. So it's gonna be like maybe, I don't know, 4 foot of the water probably.
Nah.
You're on a rooftop.
Nah, that's 30 feet ball standards.
That's a rooftop.
30 feet.
Yeah, but look, check this out. Rooftop, yes. Look at the water, how close. I can almost touch it.
Yeah, 30 feet.
Yeah, you've got my arm in it.
Yeah.
Nate, listen. You've got a soccer account in your name in chat, in caps.
Thanks for the advertising.
Block it. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
The Jeranism one appears to be the real one.
Is it?
Appears to be, yeah, but...
Let me check.
At least he's funny.
The reason why I question it is because he's put Ditrar is not Jewish, he's a Jew. I'm blocking him. So I'm presuming that must therefore be humour.
I just blocked Patricia Steer, it says. He can stay.
Jevon, you missed it all, mate. You need to watch it back, pal, because you're going to love it. Sean Hufford up to his tricks again, and that Sly Sparkane. We caught him out big time. Awesome. Lying little shitheads.
Well,
language.
Right. Let's have the conversation with Jeff while he's in here, because I know he's been waiting patiently, and credit is due. So, Jeff, I'll start with the claim. You guys don't know where south is accurately.
Okay, do we know where north is?
That's my question. How do you know where south is if you know where north is? You can't see the North Star, right?
North of the equator, we can see the North Star.
Yeah, but we're talking about from if you're in Australia or South America or Africa. You can't see the North Star, right?
Okay, can we tell where north is based on the sun?
Well, it changes every day, doesn't it? If it rises in the east, it changes about a degree every day.
Okay, but at solar noon, it is as high in the sky as it's going to be for an observer. And that will be, if they are south of the equator, it will be north of them. And if they're north of the equator, it will be south of them.
Right. But given that the sun rises not in the same place each day.
We're not talking about where it rises or sets. We're talking about where it is when it reaches its highest point in the sky, which will always be either north of you or south of you, depending on where you are relative to the equator.
But if it's rising and setting in a different place every day, your north point varies too, correct?
No, it doesn't. You can test this. Yes, you can test it yourself.
Hold on, how Anthony, Anthony, hold on. He's correct. So what I want to know then, Jeffrey, is have you established solar noon, got south, and then checked that that is pointing directly at the rotation point?
I don't live south of the equator.
So what's the point of this assertion then?
The point of this assertion is that Anthony is completely wrong when he says that people south of the equator can't know where north or south are.
Sorry, have you got some evidence of somebody establishing solar noon, pointing south, verifying that is consistent, and then verifying that they are pointing at the empty space that is known as the south rotation point? Do you have that evidence or not?
I'm here to talk to Riley. I'm not here to answer your questions.
Right.
Well, then you can sod off, because I am asking a question. If you don't want to answer this very awkward question, Jeffrey, that's fine. It's very telling if you don't answer it. I'll ask it again. Do you have evidence of somebody in the south establishing their solar noon, pointing south according to solar noon, and then gathering the information of the empty space known as the south rotation point? Do you have that evidence? Yes or no?
No. Now let me...
So what's the point of your assertion? It's just words then, Jeffrey? Just words backed by zero evidence then, Jeffrey?
Word salad, word salad.
Came to make assertions, not debate. This is a debate show, buddy.
Sorry, Jeffrey, can you give me a response, Jeffrey? Hold on. Jeffrey, I'd like a response. So you just have an assertion with absolutely sod all evidence then, Jeffrey?
I have evidence north of the equator.
Sorry, Jeffrey, I'll ask it again for a third time. Do you actually have evidence of what you're claiming?
North of the equator, yes.
Do you have evidence of it in the south, which is specifically what Anthony is talking about?
No.
Shut your mouth then, you dumbass. You don't have evidence, shut up.
Fairy tales, yeah. Fairy tales.
Let's talk about magnetic declination, Anthony.
No, let's talk about the fantasy that we have a south that can be aligned with a solar noon south, and then it can look at a south rotation point that we can't see, Jeffrey. Why would you make such an assertion?
What did I assert?
You asserted that we could establish where south was using solar noon, presumably to verify that that is in conjunction with the south rotation point, which is Anthony's point.
About the south rotation point.
Sorry, didn't hear. Say again, sorry.
I didn't come in here to talk about the south celestial pole. I just came in here to tell Nathan, or to tell Riley, that you can use solar noon to figure out where north and south are.
That's lovely. I've done that. We've got a whole series of sun tracking doing exactly that. What's your point?
Well, then why does Anthony say that you can't do solar tracking to figure out where north and south are?
He was talking about the south celestial rotation point.
I didn't say anything about a south celestial.
Yeah, he did. Are you dumb? Are you dumb? He's making an assertion about whether or not people on different continents can all look south at the same time. Do you think I give a crap about your example with Solar Noon when I've done 2 24-hour-long sun tracking events establishing just that? It doesn't prove you're on a bloody ball, does it?
I'm not talking about a ball. I'm talking about looking south.
We are. This is a flat Earth debate, mate.
Can we talk about magnetic declination now? Because
Sorry, we are here to establish whether or not your ball religion is correct.
That didn't answer my question. Can we talk about magnetic declination with Anthony?
Sorry, we are here because Anthony has made an assertion about your ball religion and about looking south at the south celestial rotation point. You've brought up Solar Noon in response to that. Now you want to move on to something else. Why? You don't have any evidence to back your assertion.
Because you won't let me continue talking about Solar Noon.
So you do have evidence to back your assertion?
No, I said I'm moving on because...
Sorry, no, we're not moving on, you dick. What part of this don't you get? You've made an assertion, now we're ripping it apart. We're not moving on. Do you get it?
How did you rip it apart?
Yeah, because it proves nothing, it's just words. You can't prove that looking south after establishing Solar Noon clarifies or confirms anything to do with multiple observers on different continents looking at the quote-unquote south and establishing where those stars are. Okay?
I never made that claim.
Yeah, Anthony did, and you're here responding to it.
I'm responding to his claim that you can't know where south is.
What? He didn't know? What? You're a dick. He has made a very specific claim about southern stars.
Sounds like Brenda with a voice.
I do not sound like Brenda.
You got a voice changer.
Oh, let's not let this degenerate into conspiratard nonsense. Come on.
Oh, but it's the same. It's the same MO that they obfuscate the answer and the question.
I didn't obfuscate anything. I said I'm here to talk about north and south with Anthony.
Why would we need to establish where south is exactly? What's the point of establishing south, Jeffrey?
Well, if there is a south pole, then looking south would be looking at the South Pole, right?
Correct.
So?
Okay. So Anthony was saying you can't do this with a compass, correct? You can't
Sorry,
use a compass.
sorry, why are we trying to establish where the South Pole is? What's the point of doing this?
Well, it would be the first step. Like you can't bring up a South Celestial Pole without talking about.
Oh, so we are talking about the South Celestial Pole then, dickhead.
No,
you just denied that and claimed that Anthony's claim was just about solar north. Correct?
Solar north?
Sorry, it's been a long day. I've been in the sun a lot. About establishing Solar Noon so you can gather the information to establish south. That was so that we could reference South Celestial Poles. You said no, that's not what I'm here for. Let's move on to magnetic south. Yeah, it is absolutely in reference to Anthony's claim about the stars. Why are you lying? It is the first step about Anthony's stars reference, correct?
Yes, but I don't...
Right! Why did you lie, you absolute toe rag? Don't lie to me, Jeffrey. It really gets me angry.
I didn't lie.
So, your example, the one I asked if you actually had any evidence for, you don't have any evidence for, and yet you want to continue and obfuscate and lie to me. We are absolutely talking about Anthony's star reference, and you don't have evidence to back your claim, do you?
I've told you 100 times now, no.
Right, so shut your mouth! Stop talking!
Thanks for the Anthony conversation, it was great.
You're an idiot. Jeffrey, you're an idiot. You've come with no evidence and we've ripped your example to pieces.
You didn't rip it to pieces at all, you just yelled.
Yeah, we did. You don't have any evidence, you complete moron. Let me ask you again, because you seem to think that I haven't just ripped your evidence to pieces, the evidence that is non-existent. So do you have an example of someone establishing where Solar Noon is to gather the information to south, then getting the stars in that direction on 3 different continents, Jeffrey? Do you have that?
No.
Right. So we've ripped your assertion to pieces based on lack of evidence.
What assertion did I make?
Yeah, that we can't establish where south is. Step 1, according to you a moment ago. Yeah, step 1. And then you went on to the stars, didn't you, Jeffrey? Something you previously denied this was about?
Talking about geographical south.
Yeah, geographical south.
Yes.
Oh, right. And you've established that geographical south with this test. You've done that, Jeffrey, or have evidence of that, do you, Jeffrey?
North of the equator, I do, yes.
Sorry, do you have it for the south stars, Jeffrey? We're talking about something specific here.
I'm sure Wolfie could do it.
Sorry, do you have it?
I already told you no. You're just
repeating. So why are you still talking?
Because you keep asking me questions.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we've ripped your assertion to pieces based on lack of evidence, and you have said no, you haven't ripped anything to pieces. Are you getting it yet? Is it sinking in? You don't have any evidence for your assertion. Do you get it? Are you stupid?
I get that you're not letting Anthony talk because Anthony would dig himself.
I don't need Anthony to talk to point out to my audience that you have no evidence. Just words, mate. You've just made an assertion. That's all you've done. Just made assertions. Useless. Worthless. You need evidence, mate.
Will Anthony mention magnetic declination again?
Why? Are we debunking this evidence you don't have?
Obviously not if I don't have evidence.
Right. Well, until you can provide some evidence to back this assertion that you're making about people being able to establish geographic south, we're not interested. You've just got words, mate.
You agree that you can determine geographic south from the sun, though?
Why are you mumbling? Speak up, man.
You agreed. No. Oh, what was that, Anthony?
Technically, no.
I thought Nathan said that he has 2 24-hour time lapses of the sun.
Well, your question was, can you technically deduce south from solar noon? And the answer technically is no, because you know that the sun rises and sets roughly 1 degree different every day.
And how does that change where its apex in the sky is?
Because 12 hours later, it's half a degree different, correct?
We're not talking about 12 hours later. We're talking about solar noon.
Yeah, but at solar noon, how are you going to see where the stars are to be able to measure it?
You don't need to see where the stars are. You're seeing where the sun is, and you're making a mark.
Right. Sorry, what part of stars in the south don't you get?
I'm sorry, I was talking to Anthony.
Yeah, you don't seem to understand that we're not talking about the sun.
I'm talking about using the sun to figure out where south is so that...
Oh, really? And you've done this, have you, Jeffrey? Is this not the 4th time we've pointed out that you have absolutely sod all proof of this assertion? You're just going to keep making this assertion, you complete asshole.
Language, you might get booted.
Yeah, are you going to keep making this the same assertion with no evidence, asshole?
Yes, I am.
Don't! Do it again and I'll kick you out. I've asked you if you've got evidence of what you're asserting. You don't. If you make this assertion again, Jeffrey, I'll kick you out. Simple. You cannot make this assertion. You don't have any evidence. It's just words. I can start making... Or I won't kick you out. I'll just start making assertions about you.
Be amazing.
Pardon?
It would be great if you did that, because then we'd have that audio and I could send that audio to whoever I wanted and they could all hear what you're saying about me. That'd be great. I don't know, is that defamation or is that libel? Is it slander because it's audio, not written?
Excuse me, you're making up a claim with no evidence. I've not done anything, and you keep reasserting it in spite of me asking you for evidence and you flat out saying you haven't got it.
Right, so we should move on.
So I'll start making assertions about you without evidence. Yeah? Is that reasonable? According to you, that's defamation. Yet you're perfectly okay to just keep making the same assertion without evidence. So when I do it about you, it's defamation. When you do it about the world I live in, it's acceptable, is it?
You're doing it about a person. I'm doing
Excuse me, I haven't done a damn thing. You have made this assertion 4 times, in spite of me pointing out to you you have no evidence for it. But yet when I say I will potentially say something about you without evidence, you claim that's defamation. So what are you doing when you keep making the same assertion without evidence, Jeffrey? What is it when you do it?
It's making a claim with no evidence is all it is.
Oh, really? Well, that's all I'll be doing. No defamation, Jeffrey. I'll just start making claims without evidence about you. It's not defamation, mate. just a claim without evidence. Okay? No defamation involved, my friend. You understand?
Okay, why don't you start then?
You already are, mate. I'm making an example of you. I don't need to actually defame your character to get you to point out that if I were to do that, it's an outrage, and you'd have something to say about it. You might even take legal action. You use words like defamation. Yet when I point out that you have done it 4 times, you continue to do it.
No.
Okay, let's move on then. Let's talk about magnetic declination.
No, let's talk about hypocrisy.
You can start.
Do you understand what the word hypocrisy is?
Why don't you give me a definition?
No, I'm asking you if you understand what the word hypocrisy means. Do you or don't you?
Yes. So why don't you give me a definition?
So what does hypocrisy mean?
Hypocrisy generally would mean if I tell you not to do something that I do.
Oh, really? Kind of like making assertions without evidence.
I didn't tell you not to do that. In fact,
I'm telling you not to, right? And then you didn't understand. So then I gave you an example which got you a little bit triggered and used words like defamation, didn't you? Then I pointed out that that's hypocritical, Jeffrey. Now I'm asking you to define hypocrisy, which you've done. I haven't made any slanderous remarks about you, have I, Jeffrey? Other than you being an idiot, which you are, demonstrably.
Okay, so can we talk about magnetic declination?
No, we can talk about hypocrisy. Why is it that you are making claims without evidence repeatedly and then telling me that if I were to do that to you, not that I have, you would be charging me with defamation of character? Why is that acceptable, Jeffrey?
You want to know why I'm doing it? Because Anthony does it. Anthony makes
Sorry, let's not shift blame. Yeah? I'm asking you why you have done it to me and my audience, and you're going to blame Anthony.
My reason is because Anthony does it, yes.
That's an outrage.
It's the reason I'm doing it.
So if somebody murders somebody, they say, well, this guy over here does it, that's acceptable. Is that what your standards are?
No.
Well, why are you using that as your standard then?
In this particular case, it's because Anthony is making a claim that's false.
So those are your standards in this particular case?
In this particular case, yes, not about murder.
So they are your standards. So you're an asshole.
I don't understand this language you're using.
You are an asshole. Yeah? I'm telling you that. Your standards and your behaviour are that of an asshole.
Okay, yours are too, but I'm trying to talk to Anthony about...
No! I'm outing an asshole. Yeah? My stern pointing out that you are a hypocrite and an asshole is demonstrable by your behaviour. If you don't like the way I talk to you or my language, you're free to leave. Sod off. But what you're doing is hypocritical, telling me that I am guilty of defamation for something that I might do in the future after you have done the exact same thing 4 times.
Are you Anthony's gatekeeper? Is that what...
I'm not a gatekeeper, mate. I'm pointing out that you are an asshole.
You totally are.
You're an asshole. You are an asshole, Jeffrey. Do you understand? You're a hypocrite and an asshole.
I understand that you're his gatekeeper. That's amazing.
No, I'm not being a gatekeeper. I'm pointing out that you have made assertions on 4 separate occasions, in spite of me asking you not to do it, threatening to kick you if you continue to do it, and then when I point out the role reverse situation, you tell me I'm guilty of defamation.
I didn't say you were guilty. I said you were.
Yeah, that would be defamation. Something that you are doing now, making assertions without evidence.
Would I intersect and just say, can we move on now, maybe?
We can. I just want to point out that these ballers are disingenuous assholes. They will obfuscate the point, and when they've lost and they have no evidence to back their assertions, they say, I haven't had my point smashed. I haven't been defeated. I haven't been wrecked here. No, you have, Jeffrey. Yeah? Your point is absolutely baseless. You have no evidence for your assertion. None. That's Anthony's point. Anthony's won. Just to make that absolutely clear. You have been obliterated here. You being in the winning position would require evidence. You don't have any. Okay, mate?
Anthony actually conceded to me earlier, so...
Conceded what exactly?
Didn't you say on your YouTube channel? Oh, no, you said if Arwen was here, you would concede. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a concession.
Saying that you would concede is not a concession?
It's a
No, it's like Ranty saying he will apologise and then not actually apologising.
Do you understand the difference between a conditional?
Oh, yes. I thought you were saying that what you had written wouldn't have even been a concession. I understand it was a conditional concession, absolutely.
Right.
So will you actually concede to your hypocrisy here or not? Because you've moved on to Anthony and what Anthony's been accusing people of, rather than addressing my point, which we've had 10 minutes of. This isn't going to go away as much as Ranty wants me to move on until you concede that you're a complete hypocrite.
I won't be doing that, no.
Well, then I'll kick you out. You have to concede. You have literally just defined hypocrisy for this audience, and it is what you have done.
Anthony, your point about magnetic
No,
declination
not Anthony. My
doesn't
name's
work.
Nathan. What you have done is hypocritical. I want you to concede that. And I'm not going to let you off the ropes.
Just concede
Magnetic
it.
declination.
Just concede it so we can have the conversation.
Oh, okay, sure. I concede it if we can have the conversation about magnetic declination.
No, that's not
concede.
enough. I want you to say I'm a hypocritical asshole.
I can't say those language. I can't see. I
Yeah,
can't
you
use that
can. You
language
can
on your
say it.
channel.
You can perform English. You can move your lips and move your vocal cords and say I'm a hypocritical asshole. Because that's what you are.
Shout out for the super chat.
Magnetic declination, Anthony.
No, hypocritical asshole. You're a hypocrite. I've pointed it out thanks to Red Pill Philosophy for the super chat.
You're
I've
a
pointed it out.
hypocrite. Okay, I
Why
said
aren't you
it.
conceding
I said it.
this?
You're a
I don't
hypocrite.
need the asshole bit. That's a joke. I want you to say I am a hypocrite. Because you are.
Nathan wants me to say I'm a hypocrite.
No, I want you to actually concede that you are a hypocrite.
Nathan wants me to concede that I
No,
am.
I want you to concede that you're a hypocrite, not restate what I want.
Nathan wants me
No,
to.
you've almost got it right. You've almost got it right.
Nathan wants me to
No,
admit
no,
that
no.
I'm a hypocrite.
You need to acknowledge that you've been hypocritical.
Oh, I have. I completely acknowledge that I've been hypocritical. Oh, definitely. Okay, so let's move on then to magnetic declination with Anthony.
Great. Nath, are we okay with this? Jeff.
I think Nathan might have just had a heart attack because I said I was a hypocrite.
Yeah, he fell off his chair.
Okay, so what's your point about magnetic declination?
Well, do we agree that to establish true south or magnetic south or whatever south you want to call it?
Those are two different terms, man.
I know, but I'm asking you for your phraseology for where we can go forward. So pick your poison, whichever one you want. I don't really care. How are you going to establish?
Okay,
how are you gonna establish-
magnetic south and geographical south are two different places.
I understand that. I've just said that. Did you hear what I said?
You asked me to clarify the terms, so I'm clarifying them for
No,
you. Magnetic
clarify the one
south.
that you want to pick. I said pick your poison. I don't care which.
Okay, let's start with magnetic south first,
All right, magnetic south. How are you going to work that out?
with a compass.
Right. So let's say that you're in. I don't know where you are. You're in it. Right. Let's say you're in South America. I'm in
Mhm.
Australia. You get your compass out. I get my compass out, and we both line up what we see in the sky based on the compass when we're looking due south to establish. South.
You
Oh,
did
hang
too
on.
many steps there.
Why?
First, let's use our compass first, and our
Yeah,
compass
that's
is
what
going to
we're
tell
trying
us
to do.
which way north and south is. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So you're in the south of America. Say we'll just say for argument's sake, Argentina. I'm in the south of Australia. We're on the same we're on the same line. We're both looking south. You flip your compass out. You line it up with north. You get your camera pointing south. Take a picture of the night sky. Don't care what angle angle of the horizon you pick. I don't care.
Okay.
You look south. I take a picture of the south, due south, and we don't get the same stars in the night sky. Do you agree?
Do you have evidence of that?
Yeah, it's called declination. It is a thing on your model.
Wait. Let's use Nathan's thing here. Like, do you have evidence of this? Do you have
Yeah,
pictures?
it's called
of it?
declination on your model. Do you
Okay.
do you deny
Well,
declination's a thing?
I don't deny what declination is.
So
or
do
I
you
don't deny
understand what
declination is a
declination
thing.
is?
Let's pretend I don't know what declination is. Could you tell me what magnetic declination is?
Yeah, it's a way of deceiving the compass. Your compass tells you to look south, and you look south, and you don't see the same stars that I see. So you've got this thing called declination that appears to be a mathematical construct to explain why you can't see the same stars as I can.
And is magnetic declination like a number or something?
Yeah, between 11 and 14 degrees, depending on where you are. Or where I am, rather. Yours is 1 degree. Mine's between 11 and 14. Why is that?
Probably because the magnetic field of the Earth is
polar,
weird.
Bipolar. There's 2 poles. One's at north, one's at south. There's not one.
How do we know the magnetic field of the Earth is weird?
Say that again.
I said, how do we know the magnetic field of the Earth is weird?
Well, it's not on their model.
No, I'm asking the guy.
No, I thought it is weird on our model because this is why we have
definitely
declination.
isn't.
Well, it could be that, or it could be that south isn't where they say it is, right? But how would you know? How do we independently verify that the magnetic field of the Earth is weird so that we can be assured that it's declination and not just the fact that the map is distorted in some way?
Nathan, share my screen, please, if you would.
Oh, I don't know. I was just here to talk about Nathan using the number of magnetic declination.
It's all right.
No, well, this is part of it.
Hang on. Nathan's not using that. I'm using that. So let's be clear on who's making what claims.
Yeah, sorry, Anthony. You guys both have like A and TH in your name, so you know.
Oh yeah, because like people are illiterate from your side of the ball, aren't they?
I'm asking what the evidence. I'm asking what the evidence that it's the magnetic field that's weird and not the map.
Hang on. Let me get to that. But before you ask that question, I want it to come from his mouth first. I'm gonna get there. Leave me with it. Nathan, am I presenting?
Not yet. I think he's fallen off the chair.
Oh, he might have got kicked. Actually, are we still online? Yeah, we are still online.
Yeah, how would he have got kicked?
If his internet's dropped, we'll get 5 minutes for him to get back online, so he may not be actually in the Hangout at the minute.
He might be making a YouTube video with me saying I'm a hypocrite or something. I don't know.
No, you're not the priority, believe me.
He seems pretty desperate to get me to say that.
It was just to get you to move on. It wasn't because he thinks you're a hypocrite, although he probably does.
I'm pretty sure he does.
He definitely does.
Otherwise, he'd be a liar. If he wanted me to, if he was calling me a hypocrite and he doesn't believe I'm a hypocrite, then he'd be a liar.
It's a debate tactic. You find a hole in their argument. Yeah, I don't think he really thinks that you're a hypocrite.
Debate tactic. The guy came in. He didn't have any evidence whatsoever. It was pathetic. No offense, Jeffrey, but it was pathetic. He came in with no.
You can't just say no offense like that. That's good.
It's like Bart Simpson when he writes lines at the beginning of Simpsons. He often writes things like, "Just saying sorry after my crime does not make it a crime," and things like that.
So, Anthony, let's get back to that magnetic declination number.
Well, I need Nathan to share my screen before we go any further. So either Nathan's here or he's not.
Well, let's continue without Nathan sharing your screen. Let's get back to the magnetic declination.
No, hang on. No, let's not.
No, he's definitely there. He's here. He's posted in the chat. Right, he's sharing.
Oh, he's rounded out the first show. Right, so let's hang fire.
No,
no point carrying on while we're...
No, he hasn't rounded it out yet.
Look, I can see the image you're sharing, Anthony. So let's talk about the image you're sharing.
Are we still live, though? Is this going...
We're still live, yeah. We've got 10 minutes. Well, we've got a little bit of time. And then he's having a 10-minute break.
Right, can we have a sound check in chat? Make sure that we are actually broadcasting, because I don't want to do this off mic. I want to do this on mic.
I can see it.
Yeah, you can, but can the chat?
Yeah, you can hear. It's still going.
Excellent. Right, okay. So, Jeff, can you see what's on my screen, right?
Yeah, I said I could.
Right, so you see on your model, we have a pole at the north and we have a pole at the south. And we get these pretty similar looking bands that go between the two poles. And that's what our compasses line up to. So although everyone thinks the compass points north, it just aligns with the magnetic fields of the Earth, correct?
It does align with magnetic fields of the Earth, yes.
Agreed.
And actually, the north magnetic pole is actually near the south geographical pole, but whatever. I mean, let's just assume this image is correct.
Would you agree that this map that's now on screen bears no resemblance whatsoever to what we've just been looking at?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. But this is an issue because this is the justification for declination, right?
That's the real magnetic map.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
this is an issue.
This is an actual magnetic map, whereas the other one was not trying to give you like realistic information.
It is your model, though, right? It's supposed to be pretty real.
Go back to that previous image.
Yeah.
Okay. Is my name Peter Reed? No, that's not my model. Okay. Continue.
That's not your model. What is your model then? Are you going to redefine science for us? Have you got some other than two poles?
No, I'm saying this graphic, which is very general in nature.
Okay, so what is your model then if that's not your representation of your model?
Go to the image you were just at then.
No, that's contradictory. You can't have it both ways. You've either got a North Pole and a South Pole, or you've got something else. If you've got something else, that's my argument.
Yeah, you have a North Pole and a South Pole. I'm just saying that the lines that are being represented here are not accurate. And that the other image you showed, the rectangular image, that's more accurate.
According to Jeffrey Pinion.
You're asking me, so yes. I'm saying that the lines, these like arcing lines here, are not an accurate depiction of the actual magnetic field of the Earth. Since, as you can show by the other image, the actual magnetic fields of the Earth has a lot more fluctuation, which is why we have magnetic declination.
Hang on a minute, that's my argument, right? You've got a North Pole and a South Pole, and all the fields are generally vertical, right? In the other model, they're all generally horizontal. That's not, you can't argue the both.
Those are horizontal.
And
that's the actual magnetic layout.
So you're criticizing
North Pole and South Pole.
You're criticizing Peter Reed, right? Peter Reed's got an email address that reads ed.ac.uk. What credentials have you got that supersedes his?
We're not talking about credentials. You were asking me if I accept this picture, and I accept it as a general idea, but I do not accept it as an accurate description of the magnetic lines of the Earth. If you go to the rectangular image that uses the Mercator projection again.
No, you got a point. Your model dictates that there's a North Pole and a South Pole, and by definition, they've got vertical field lines. However, on this map, which is the intensity field map, they appear to be horizontal. You're not having both. You're either the heliocentric worshipper.
Not only are they more horizontal, there's also two North Poles and two South Poles if you look carefully.
I know. I've not got there just yet. I wanted to pick a model because you can't have both. One's my argument that is basically the opposite of your argument. You can't have both. So if you're going to argue that this is a better representation, you can't be a heliocentric priest.
I like that you give me labels like heliocentric priest. You say that this map here shows horizontal lines of magnetic field. Is that correct?
Well, they appear to be horizontal rather than vertical. And in contrast,
have you
on
read
your model, they appear to be vertical. Would you not
go back to the Mercator map?
There?
Go back to the Mercator map.
You mean go back to my model?
Hey, Anthony.
Have you read that map? Have you read what's on that map?
Yeah.
Do you know what each of those lines represents?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, please tell us what each of those lines represent.
The opposite of your argument that we live on a pole with like an Earth with two like poles.
Tell me what the number on those blue cyan lines represent.
How is that relevant to your model?
Because you think this map shows horizontal lines of magnetic field, and you're incorrect.
Hey, Anthony.
Yes.
So what are the arrows sticking out of the right side of the page and the left side of the page, indicating direction, like east-west, and not north-south? I wonder.
Can I help you out here, Anthony, a sec?
No, actually, respectfully, George, I'd rather not. I'd rather Jeffrey get this one to a conclusion.
Right.
I'd rather have closure on it. I understand what you're about to say, George, but I want Jeffrey to say it, not you. So, Jeffrey.
Yes.
On your model, there's a North Pole and a South Pole denoted by this character CGI graphic thing. In the real world, there is a magnetic intensity field map that tells us that there are anomalies all over the Earth. Some of them are strong, some of them seem to be negative. By way of comparison, there's a big difference between the two. But on the sphere model, the heliocentric model, there's only two poles. So we have one that's very strong down here, and we have one that's very weak. We have one that's very strong down here, and we have one that's very weak. But we also have this anomalous-looking one in the middle somewhere. But none of that makes sense on your model, because the whole point should be that there's one up there, there's one down here, and all the field lines should be relatively vertical. You might get minor variations here and there, but they shouldn't be horizontal.
Do you notice that none of these lines are going from a pole to another pole?
That's my point. That's my argument. Well done.
That's because they're not the lines of the magnetic field going from pole to pole. They are the lines that are like concentric circles out from the poles, except they're not concentric circles because the magnetic field of the Earth isn't made of concentric circles.
Why are there 5 of them, though, not 2?
Have you noticed, first of all, that the graph, that the map doesn't go down to 90 degrees south and 90 degrees north? It ends at 70 and 70?
Pretty close. Are you going to argue that the Earth's flat because of it, or what?
No, I'm asking you, did you notice that this doesn't go all the way up to 90 north and 90 south? Yes or no?
Yeah, but I don't see how it's a relevant point.
Okay, well, so first of all,
interesting though.
First of all, this map isn't showing you the whole Earth then. It's
I find it very
keeping part of it hidden, right?
Why is it?
So what?
Okay, so first of all, this map has incomplete data.
Really?
Acknowledge that. If it's not showing 40 degrees worth of the Earth.
Hang on, no, it's comparable with saying there are 5 continents compared to 7. Some people don't include Antarctica and the Arctic region. Some people do. I don't see the problem.
My point is this map here doesn't tell you what the lines of magnetic field intensity are south of 70 degrees south or north of 70 degrees north. So this map does not have complete data. That's the first thing.
Maybe it wasn't the point of this map to represent that data below 70.
It has 5 hotspots, but it should only be 2. I don't see how you can argue that there's a problem there. It dwarfs your argument by a factor of 10.
What do you define as a hotspot exactly?
Well, you know, the epicenter of any of these circular points, of which there are 5, and there should only be like 2.
Kind of wrecks your argument, doesn't it, really, mate?
I haven't even made an argument about this yet.
Okay, your argument is that there are 2.
But if we included the missing geography, is that going to change anything about the argument that Anthony's making? No.
It could add 2 more poles, is all.
Yeah, it could only get worse for you, not better. You've still got 5 what appears to be hotspots or anomalies. You know, one of those things that you can't explain, but you have to accept.
And with that, I'm going to say first and foremost, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the live panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. Also, a massive shout out for all the super chats. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!